you're listening.
I just don't care.
Look, if you're 300 pounds, then you are a monster, and I don't want you to talk.
Welcome back to This Is a Work. My name is David Hensley. I'm the owner and creative director of Long Wong Productions, and I am here to introduce your host, David Two Doggz Hayes.
Thank you very much, David Hensley, and welcome to York, South Carolina, here at day one here at Kayfabe Outpost Studios for This Is a Work. I am David Two Doggz Hayes, along with my tag team partner, Chris, the Fashion Plate Barnes. How are you, brother?
Day one, more like day fun.
Really? Wow. I don't even...
And the show is canceled.
Well, thank you very much for listening to This Is a Work.
Finally, I did it.
Yeah, so day one,
That pause was more than enough.
Yeah, I think you know where... What a pile of crap this was. I mean, okay, let's be fair. It wasn't awful, but the way that they were pushing this, you were thinking we should be getting something stellar.
I mean, this is, after all, a premium live event.
Premium live event. No more pay-per-views. Which, you know what? I'm actually in agreement with this. Because when I think about a pay-per-view, I've told you this already.
Well, I mean, yeah, based on the model, it makes sense. It's just ridiculous how they're pushing the name.
Yeah, it's
If they should just say, "Oh, we're just calling it a premium live event now," just leave it at that. Don't keep saying it.
I think premium is a stretch.
It is.
Maybe a special live event, because special could mean anything.
It's the contractually obligated end of the month show.
Yeah, that'll work too. So we watched day one, and I don't know. Let's jump in with both feet and talk about this damn thing.
Sorry, I've got one more. This is the model we've trapped ourselves in.
Hey, there you go. So we're gonna start out the kickoff show with Cesaro and Ricochet. Hey, good to see them back. Versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus. Did you ever get to watch this?
I didn't. We arrived too late. We arrived after that had happened.
I went back and watched it later, and honestly, not a bad match. Pretty decent. The bad part about this, Ridge Holland ended up breaking his nose. Ricochet broke Ridge Holland's nose.
I was about to say, you're kind of burying the lead there. No, it got broken by Ricochet.
And it was nasty. There was blood everywhere. Yeah. And he was gone for the rest of the match. Sheamus stepped up his game. He took care of it. And it was a beautiful thing to watch.
I'll say, because apparently nothing about the finish changed. He got to beat Cesaro and Ricochet all by himself then.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like a champ. Not much to this thing because there wasn't any build to it. So we had he ends up hitting Ricochet with the white noise outside the ring. Sheamus and Cesaro, they go back and forth. We get a little bit of the bar reunion. That was fun for a second. And, well, he got Cesaro got caught with the bro kick, and we got the 1, 2, 3. That's just the beginning and end of it. Yeah. I did enjoy the match.
That's going to be a common theme. It's just like the matches weren't bad necessarily.
No. But I gave this one a 3.5. Sheamus goes over, and yeah, there it is. So, moving into the actual card, we start things out with the Usos, your tag team champions, versus the New Day.
Finally, a new match.
Yeah. This is probably, I actually wrote down here in my notes, this match is everything that is wrong with the tag team division. Period, point blank. How many times since we've been doing this as a work have we seen these two on a pay-per-view? I mean, can you take a guess?
Probably fighting each other. I mean,
can you guess how many times we've seen them?
I would argue at least somewhere between 8 to 10 of the events that we cover a year have involved.
Yeah, it's been over 25 times.
It's like if you like in the older WWE games where it's like you could make your own matches or make your own events.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like you go to a set of default tag match. It would just be New Day versus Usos unless you change it.
Right. and that's what. Now, listen, these guys are fantastic together.
Yes.
And they can put on 5-star matches.
Yes.
But once you reach the 25th time, how much do you care?
I mean, that's the thing. Is like we're talking about these guys who do phenomenal together, and I sound bored, don't I? I don't like that. I don't like that when I'm talking about them, matching up against each other. That I'm like, oh yeah, it's this again.
Yeah, because it's 4 great competitors doing what they do best in the ring, and I don't give a shit. And I had to give this match a 2.
There you go. There's the tagline for this show. Same shit, different year.
That's exactly what it is. The Usos go over with a 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah.
Who cares? How many times we've seen this thing over 25 times now? That's the biggest problem here. How are we gonna start things out fresh and new with a new outlook, and when we've got the same shit?
Well,
just get rid of the tag belts. Just get rid of the tag division.
Or reinstitute COVID testing so that, a third of your roster doesn't suddenly catch it.
Well, let's move into our next one. This was interesting. We got Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss, Barnes.
Yeah, I heard you.
How do you feel about this match?
You have to be really good at comedy to play something that is forcing bad comedy onto people and still make it entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss.
There was 5 minutes of bad comedy happened before this match even started.
Mm-hmm. Involving Happy Corbin, whose current personality trait is hat.
Yeah.
And Madcap Moss, whose shtick, for as far as I can tell, is tell bad even for dad joke, bad level joke.
Yeah.
And then
laugh at yourself about it.
Laugh like the Joker hit you with Joker gas and you're dying.
Now, regardless of that, regardless of his horrible gimmick, Riddick Moss showed up to play.
Yes, he did.
He actually made a really good showing, and
his suspenders did not.
No, not a bit. God, I hate that gimmick so much. Why would you do this to somebody? I mean, look at the man. I mean, by all stages of the imagination, this should be Vince's guy. But no, you put him in a ridiculous shirt. You gave him red suspenders. I
think in Vince's head, this is how you prove you're worthwhile: is you stick through shit.
Well, they didn't do that with Hogan.
No, Because Hogan got so big so fast he couldn't control it.
Yeah, that's.
I'm thinking more along the lines of Mark Henry, who soldiered through the worst.
See, here's the thing about Mark Henry. I loved everything that Henry did.
I think most of that came off well because Henry didn't care. It's not like he wasn't seething through it. He just, what am I doing now? Okay, yeah.
Well, that, and it was also more to life of what, because the whole thing of sexual chocolate that they did with him. That's right, Henry. Hensley, they called him sexual chocolate.
There's a song.
Okay.
And the whole reason that they did that is because they found out that he absolutely loved gentlemen's clubs.
Okay.
And
well, see, that's why I would never let anyone know anything about my personal life in WWE. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want the next gimmick they have for me to be based on anything from me.
Yeah.
Unless it's done by me organically.
It's Chris, the video game player Barnes.
I don't need to pretend to be that in the ring. I can go home and be that part of me by myself. But it's that, and it's the thing they do with their baby faces now, where it's like you have to just lose and just get your ass thrashed until finally you're able to stop. So you're able to win it.
I don't know. It's kind of shameful when you think about it. It's shameful to think about it. You're ruining this guy's career.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's say that he washes out, which he inevitably is going to do, and they're going to release him. And then he's going to say, hey, AEW, hey, Impact, hey, Ring of Honor, whatever. Can I have a job? And you're like, you're that Madcap guy that was in WWE? You were the jobber over there with the Madcap gimmick? Yeah, I don't know. They're not going to give him a chance. And, I mean, would you blame him? Because that's where he got his showing, and Vince ruined him. Well, Drew McIntyre goes over with Claymore kick. It was a great match, even though the match itself was great. Riddick, I don't even want to call him Madcap. Riddick looked great. McIntyre looked great. They just went back and forth. They had a nice flow in the ring. I gave the match a 4.
Sure. It's hard to describe. It's like these are good matches, but overall, the atmosphere feels off for some reason.
Yeah, it does. And it's really just the damn gimmick, and just the fact that I probably, because we're coming out of the pandemic, and who knows? I don't know. Moving into our next match. Well, your favorite, the Street Profits versus RK Bro.
I'm fine with them. I don't know what your deal is.
I don't care for Private Party.
Well, good, because we saw Street Profits.
Well, have you ever seen them in the same place? Yes, I make that joke every podcast, but it's still true. We still haven't seen them in the same place.
You need to stop.
I'm not wrong. That's the same. That's the same
you ain't
group
right.
of people.
So this was fun. Hey kids, do you like rappers?
Oh, that's right, because we had the Migos.
Yes.
Come out, and I know you were expecting me to say that wrong, but
no. I mean, honestly, yeah, I honestly never remember how to pronounce it until I hear it.
What is that anyway? What is that supposed to be short for Amigos? Or?
I think I really don't want to speculate because I'm too out of the loop and too white.
No. I'm too old to know who these guys are. I don't know. Hensley, you're young and hip and with it.
I am not that young or hip or with it. I was as in the dark as the two of you about who these people were. I had no idea.
Well, this is upsetting. I was hoping we would have somebody here that's familiar with their product.
Anyway, turns out they love RK Bro. So for some reason, they were here to support them against the Street Profits.
Mm-hmm. So they came down to ringside. They sat over there in commentary with the velvet ropes.
Yes,
that they got from Private Party.
And this is really seems like a setup that you would do against a team that's like, I don't know, a hated heel rivals. I mean, Street Profits aren't.
They're not. This is face on face.
It is.
And
it's such a weird move.
And in WWE, face on face really doesn't work that well.
I mean, in terms of in-ring action, it was fine.
No, they were, once again, you know, I talk a lot of smack about the Street Profits because I don't think they really know how to wrestle, but they can perform very well. Mm-hmm. Athletically speaking, I can't think of a better tag team, athletically speaking.
Right.
Just as far as the performance goes, or just the psychology of tag team wrestling, I don't think they know what's going on. One, Montel's going to get his stuff in. Montez. What's the other guy's name?
Dawkins. Angelo Dawkins.
Okay. Who are the guys from Private Party?
I don't remember.
Nah. So.
That is gotcha journalism at its finest.
Isn't it? Same people.
You can call the Hardy family office anytime and ask.
Oh, that's right. You think they're going to be getting Jeff in there?
I don't know, probably.
We just had as a side note, because honestly, I gave this match a 3 and it bored the shit out of me. I really don't have any notes on it.
RK Bro retained.
And nobody cared. But I heard that Tony Khan had made an announcement today that we're going to have a dream signing.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So you think it's going to be Jeff?
I mean, I'm pretty sure what he meant is there's going to be a dream sequence video that ends with Jeff showing up.
Or it could be Wyndham Rotunda. One or the other.
I don't know.
But moving into our next match, we have Edge versus Miz. This is another one I don't give two shits about. I'm sorry, guys, and I hate to be a downer about this whole pay-per-view, but there's no push in this. There's no reason for anybody to care. I don't see the point of having Miz versus Edge.
Well, Miz said mean things to Edge.
Well, there you go. Tell me somebody that gives two shits about it. It's almost like Christian Cage versus Christian Cage.
That's mean.
I just did that just to piss off Robert.
That was so mean. It's like the weird thing is like this isn't like a non-standard way of starting a feud. It's just, man, it just doesn't feel inspired in any way.
No, and you know. He was beaten clean in the ring. Edge beats Miz clean. But they kind of worked it as if Miz was distracted because Beth Phoenix.
Well, I mean, Maurice, with all her constant interfering.
Yeah, but how much of there was it really?
There was hardly any. She honestly looked like she needed to be somewhere in like the next 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then Beth comes out and just stands at the top of the stage.
They missed the cue for her theme.
They clearly did.
And because she was supposed to go once her theme hit, and she was like, where? She was up there making her angry face, waiting for her music.
Yeah, overproduction. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are you gonna do here? It's just disappointing to watch. It's like, you know.
I want to talk about something good here, and I just can't do it because you haven't given me anything. I'd like to nitpick this thing if I could, but the whole damn card just needs work. It's bad. I gave this match a 2. Edge goes over, and again, nobody cares.
Angry biker couple beats angry fancy couple.
Yeah. So now we're gonna at Royal Rumble we'll have a mixed tag match. Maurice and Miz versus Beth and Edge. Great.
Do you think they're going to be able to follow through on that booking?
Who's to say? I don't know.
I mean,
Edge's eyes may pop out of his skull before we get there.
He was in that ring like a homeless man demanding $1.
He looks terrible, doesn't he? You can say it. He does.
Well, no, he's just older, and when you're older like that, I mean, I know it's the thing right now, but a beard that long does not add to the aesthetic very well.
Well, it's that and the over tanning, and his face is getting all gritty looking, and it's probably just from living up in Asheville. And now he's going to start begging for change on the street, and he's going to start telling you stories. I used to be a vampire, and people say, okay, all right, here's $1, and that's what's going to happen. Yeah. And speaking of bad, let's move on to our next one, because if it could not get worse, my God, it did. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Sir, your thoughts?
Talking about what baby faces are supposed to be in WWE now, there were 2 things that Liv Morgan did in terms of physically acting in the ring, and that was sobbing and screaming. Well, I'm sorry, sobbing, almost sobbing, and then angry screaming to rev herself up. Yeah. It was a seesaw. It was a seesaw of that.
Yeah. I like Liv Morgan. I wanted to see her take this title. That was one of the things I was looking forward to, if there could be anything. And about midway through this match, there had been so many botches, so many just slow-moving spots that shouldn't have been that slow.
There were a few, yeah.
I didn't want to see her take the title anymore, because I don't want to see anybody to win anything after such a garbage match. And
wish granted.
Yeah. And I know the internet is going to disagree with me on this. Everybody thought that they showed up and they was like, oh, this was a stellar match. It was like, no. Have you seen any of this?
No. I always get tired of people refusing to actually. I know it's one thing. I know it's one thing to enjoy the characters and like them, whether they're good or bad. But at the same time, people are like, like characters. They think that like characters like Becky Lynch and like the heels who are constantly dominating should never lose because they're too. They like them because they're cool, and it's like. Yeah, but narratively, you're supposed to be in the middle of the narrative and go like, fine, they're cool, but they're also the bad guy. You want them to lose,
right?
And part of that is just horrific booking on WWE's part.
And I'm getting to the point to where I've got go away heat for Becky Lynch. I really am at the point to where I don't want to see her anymore. I get it. She's the man. We made a lot of money off her. We sold some T-shirts. It was awesome. It's over.
Well, I mean, they had her come back and ruin the mystique of that immediately, and then just went from there.
I mean, all of this is writing. All of this is just bad writing, and they gotta know, right? Don't you think they gotta know what they're doing?
They feel like they do. Well, I mean, we say that, but I mean, they're still presumably day of still rewriting stuff.
Yeah. And look, I get the whole COVID thing and how, okay, well, we had some people bounce out for COVID, so we got to make some changes. You didn't have to make that many changes.
No, I mean, the only other thing I hear of where changes come that fast and that often are actual soap operas, like actual daily soap operas where they have so here's the revisions, here you go, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And this match was, oh, God. The go-home on this was Lynch hits the manhandle slam on...
oh, yeah, this was the botched finish.
Yeah.
That also hurts Liv because she was supposed to pin her with feet on the ropes to make it look like, she couldn't...
heel tactic.
She couldn't do it without cheating.
Right.
She couldn't get the job done without cheating. Boo.
Well, she missed her mark.
She was not far back enough to get him on the ropes, so they went ahead and counted the pin, and now Liv lost clean.
Yep. Clean loss. Liv is done.
Not that they don't do that enough anyway, where they just have people lose clean for no reason.
It's such... I get mad at when I'm watching this because
now you're right. Narratively, how are we supposed to still care that Liv wants to win that title? She's lost her claim to the title because Becky got her.
Yeah, and in truth, who else do we have? Yeah, we're gonna do Bianca again. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
Why? She lost clean in 10 seconds.
Yep.
Why would we want to even do that again? And I think she lost on Raw too, or lost by DQ or something like that.
I mean, yeah, probably.
It's so we've done this. So why do we care now? And who else in the women's division do we have that's going to be a credible champion? I mean, Bayley's still out. I thought Bayley was coming back soon, but apparently not. So we're going to do Charlotte again. I know how you feel about Charlotte.
Why does she need to be champion?
Because we don't have anybody else, Chris.
That's what happened. That's what happened in WCW.
Else.
That's what happened with Ric Flair.
Yeah.
They would back themselves into a corner narratively and be like, "Hey, Rick."
Yeah. He's all right.
That's how he became the Black Scorpion.
God, boy, was that a
magic.
He talks about that and he says, I was the Black Scorpion from the time I woke up that morning till the time I got back to the hotel. I kept that damn hood on. I didn't want anybody to see me. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I can't be kind about this. I gave this match a 1. And that's it.
If for no other reason, then they flubbed their narrative at the finish line.
Right. Well, that moves us up to the main event already. We're already at the main event.
Goodness.
I know. Well, because there's
nothing to talk about.
There truly isn't. I would love to tell you, well, this is how the match went. It went like this or like this or like this, but I didn't care. I know most of you listeners out there did not care how this match went or how any of these matches went because they weren't good. And you didn't give us a reason to give a shit about them in the first damn place. This one, on the other hand...
I will say this one was pretty wild and not enough to save the show, but fun.
Yeah, match of the night as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. This, of course, was originally a fatal 4-way, but then... Roman had to go tussle with COVID, so now Brock Lesnar gets thrown into the mix.
Yeah, so now we have a fatal 5-way, and the participants in this one are Brock Lesnar, we have Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, who I heard was originally supposed to beat Big E for this in the fatal 4-way. Who knows if that's true or not? It's just something I heard through a source, but... Is it reliable? No. So,
and then, there's...
Oh, and Bobby Lashley.
And Big E himself.
Mm-hmm. Now, this match started out at 100 miles an hour. I mean, this match was 8 minutes long.
Yes.
Isn't that about...
Like 8 and some change.
8, yeah. And they did not not sleep.
Oh, no.
No flies on these guys, man. They hit the ground running. We started. Bobby ends up spearing Lesnar. It was like the first or second spot of the whole.
Through the guardrail, yeah.
Through the guardrail. Took out Lesnar right off the bat. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Everybody gets in their spots. It's mid-range move after
Owens and
mid-range.
Rollins form a temporary alliance.
Yeah.
Which leads to a great spot on the outside where they knock Lesnar down with the steps, and Owens does the little bounce that Brock does.
Right, and then goes over and takes the lightest part of the table, of the announcer's table, and throws it at Lesnar.
Who went through it? I know someone went through the table.
That was, oh boy, it was Lashley.
It was Lashley. Okay.
And yeah, so we took out Lashley now. So now we got Big E handling business.
Big E had a great stretch in there.
Yeah, everybody looked really good in this match for the short amount of time that we were doing this.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. I think they accidentally did something right. No way they did this on purpose.
No,
but,
I don't believe that anymore about most of the stuff. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that goes right in WWE goes right in spite of the people in charge.
And the go home on this, Big E gets his comeback.
Yeah.
And he picks up Lashley and hits him with the big ending, and he always looks so good. Especially, I don't know what it is about him doing that to Lashley. It just looks so effortless and devastating at the same time. And bam, hits him with it, pops right up. Here comes the monster, the beast. Catches him for the big ending again. Lesnar wiggles out of the back, spins him around, F5, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And we have a new WWE champion. Now, everybody is thinking it. Can we get an undisputed unification match?
I wasn't, but go on.
You weren't thinking that? You
no,
really didn't?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think the brand split works. I don't know if unifying it would be much better. I don't know.
I feel like we have to do it because number one, I've hated the brand split. I've hated the two world champions ever since it started.
Yeah.
Because
they keep going back. No matter how many times they're like, well, let's not do that again. They keep going back to it. It's like it's, I don't know who it is, Vince, whoever. They cannot just, they want each brand to be its own mega thing.
It doesn't make sense to me. Look, as you ever, because whether it's Raw, whether it's SmackDown, whether it's NXT, it's all WWE.
It is.
And, you could have...
Unless it's NXT UK, then it might as well not exist.
How many people know about it?
That's how they're keeping all their jobs at this point.
We could... It's all WWE. Give me... well, look, remember those 3 Super Bowl champions from last year? No, because there was only one. Remember the World Series when we had those 3 world champions in baseball? No. Any other sport. If we're going...
Who was AFC champion?
I don't know.
Yeah, but there was one, right?
Yeah, a lesser champion.
A regional champion.
A regional champion.
They have regional championships before deciding nationals. They still exist.
So what you're saying is the Intercontinental Champion should be the number 1 contender for the World Champion.
In an ideal world, yes.
Yeah. I agree with you. Because that's the way it was back in the NWA. And
honestly,
those were good times.
I would be fine if they could keep to the rules of their own idea. I would be fine with them keeping a brand split and treating each brand like its own region.
Yeah.
like it's like a classic wrestling territory. Mm-hmm. And people will migrate every so often, but they don't do that.
They can't do it. They can't hold it for a week.
And they especially can't do it now because they're down so many people.
By their own doing.
Cuts notwithstanding, I mean, just on top of like injuries and COVID too.
Right. I did love this match. I gave it 4.5 Meltzers.
It was fun. My biggest criticism is Big E shouldn't have taken the pin. I think at the very least, I mean, it should have been Owens.
I don't disagree.
It should have been. It should have been the standard. You didn't actually pin me, the champion, so I should still be in contention, kind of thing.
Right.
That's the only reason.
I can't disagree with that, but I can also see Rollins taking the pin.
Yeah.
I can also get down with Big E taking the pin because it's a 5-on-5 match. And
I'll give it that, but I mean, on top of that, his run hasn't been the greatest because it seems like it's just been an afterthought in a lot of ways.
It really has.
So I think
by no fault of his own, he has been working. I have seen him at UFC. I have seen him at football games.
Yeah,
he has been everywhere promoting that WWE title.
Yeah, and I just think it's just the icing on a terrible cake for him, unfortunately.
Yeah,
because they really kind of gave him short shrift.
Yeah, and you know what's bad about this? This is all 3 members of New Day that have just been shit on by Brock Lesnar.
Well, sort of. I mean, he's taken the title from 2 of them.
He took the title from 2 of them, but he destroyed. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm getting Roman mixed up with Brock.
Right.
But, I mean, really.
So now, yeah, it's just a matter of time till Xavier gets it and then has to worry about where Brock Lesnar is at any given moment.
Right. So, yeah, let's just prepare for that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but, you know, I did love this match. This was the best match of the whole night. Overall, I got to give this whole pay-per-view, I'm going to give it a 2, but okay. I don't think it deserves it. I'd like to give it a 1.5. I would
say give a separate rating for the wrestlers and versus the show.
Well, I just can't do that and feel good about myself.
Then it's a 2. Because it's like it should be way higher given the work that was put in by them.
Sure, absolutely.
But the show and just the feeling of it brought it down. So I think a 2 is fair in that regard.
Yeah, a 2, and a 2 and a frowny face. That's what you're getting in red ink. What did you think was the most best dressed for the evening? What do you got?
Kofi and Xavier.
Yeah, always.
They was specifically their outfits were Tekken based.
I didn't get that. What? I didn't notice. What would?
I forget the guy that Xavier was patterned after, but Kofi was dressed as the wrestling character from Tekken King.
King. Oh yeah. Tiger King.
No, yeah, I think no.
Not Tiger King.
Xavier was dressed as King, which made sense because he's King of the Ring.
Right.
And I forget who Kofi was based off of, but it was another character.
Huh. I'll have to go back and look.
And
at
they
that.
did the character taunts when they got in the ring.
I didn't see any. I saw it, but I didn't pay attention to any of that. That's fun. That is fun. Okay, what about worst dressed?
Madcap.
Yeah.
It's the too tight shirt, which I get it, fine, it's wrestling.
Sure.
You want to show off the physique. But the suspenders went wild during the match. They unclipped. They got flung everywhere. Yeah. And they ended up around his neck like a terrible necklace.
Yeah. The shirt exploded at some point. It's, stop doing this to this decent man. Come on, leave him alone.
No, you have to spend your time looking like an absolute stupid dork before they finally decide to put the shine on you, Doggz. No.
I get it. We need to give him a gimmick.
Yeah.
Something other than, former football star, former NXT star, Riddick Moss.
No, he's got a terrible name and a bad sense of humor. That's his gimmick, dog.
Leif Cassidy. Let's just let's just call him that. And we'll say he's part of the new Rockers. So let's just do it that way. God. Hensley, do you have a best performance?
I do, Doggz. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
I'm going to give best performance to myself.
Okay.
It's my future self. On the day when you finally say, you know what, Hensley, I think we're done with WWE. This is a work is going to focus solely on AEW from now on. And if that means doing fewer episodes a year, so be it. And I will say, oh, well, you know, we've had a good run, and it's just too bad that WWE just couldn't pull it together. I mean, I myself, I am heartbroken, and I am disappointed. I am upset by this news, and I'm so afraid of letting our listeners down because they are going to be upset by. Oh, it's heartbreaking to me. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say "and scene," and that's going to be that.
And the Oscar goes to
Someone else.
David Hensley.
Thank you.
This is a work.
That's not the name.
I was the only nominee, and I accept that. No, I honestly, I hit my quota for paying attention to WWE pay-per-views. I'm sorry, premium live events. Well, WrestleMania last year, I think, was around the time when I gave up. And we're not off to a good start. This was the first day of the year, and I found it so hard.
They took off December to be ready for this.
They did. And I could not, for all the reasons that you mentioned, I could not even get into the Becky Lynch and Bianca.
Liv.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting my matches confused. The Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch match, which we've talked about on here before. I usually prefer women's matches to the men's, and not for the gross reasons that most people would think a guy would prefer. I've always said it's always looked to me like the women work harder in their matches than the men do. But then you watch a match like this and you're like, oh, well, they're on equal footing now because the women's matches are just as bad as the men's.
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree.
I'm in the same boat with you guys. Like, I found it to be a frustrating pay-per-view, and it was very difficult for me to stay engaged with it.
And I got to tell you,
I was in the same boat. I said as much. I said it's like I've never felt colder going into an event than this one. It's just like I didn't even feel like any sort of dread. Like, how bad is this going to be? It's just like it's happening.
Yeah, it's like it's so bad that we can't make fun of it. And it's not like this is the movie Roadhouse where we can hey, this guy just said I used to fuck guys like you in prison. Ha 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 ha. Aren't we entertaining? No.
And we have had bad pay-per-views that we're at 42 minutes right now. We've had bad pay-per-views that we've gotten a full 90 minutes out of because there was something to riff on.
Yeah.
This isn't so bad it's good. We're in so bad it's bad territory.
It's so bad it's meh. It's the worst sweet spot to be in, which is if I've heard it phrased varying ways, but it's like if you're going to be good, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad, you need to be entertainingly so.
Right.
And this is mid. This is directly in the terrible sweet spot of it's not awful, it's not great, it's just there, and it's nothing.
No, it's honestly, it's sad because we can't even make fun of this. And that's where we're at. And Hensley just said, he was like, I'm actually looking forward to the day that Doggz says, I don't want to do this anymore. I got to tell you, that day is rapidly approaching.
I feel like that doomsday clock went up a minute.
I mean, you just heard a car go by. That was me driving as fast as I could towards that day.
I'm not going to be surprised if someday we just go Big Four only. That's it. If that.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it.
And it wasn't that long ago. This is what's especially frustrating about the WWE to me is I don't remember what pay-per-view it was, but it was like summer 2021. And we sat through a pay-per-view that was so bad that you and I stood outside smoking, and you were like, I think we're just going to go to the Big Four. We're going to do next month's pay-per-view because we've already said that we would. And then after next month, just the Big Four. And I said...
It was SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Must have been. And I didn't even hear about that till after the fact.
I said, I'm fine with this. We're still with AEW's pay-per-views. We're still going to have enough content.
Yeah.
And then the next month, whatever the next pay-per-view was good. We all enjoyed it. We had positive things to say about it. Yeah. And so the discussion of going to the Big Four just got tabled. Mm-hmm. And now we've swung right back around again to being
back
let
on the
down.
table again.
Yeah. And also, listeners, you notice we didn't do a Survivor Series pay-per-view premium live event.
Yeah.
Well, the reason for it, it's holidays. And two, we could have done it, but it was so useless that we didn't even want to bother. That's the actual reason. Yeah, we did have holiday stuff going on, but we could have made it happen. We just I don't even care.
I can't even remember. There's something about it that was just dismal enough that it's just like, no, fine, I'm fine not doing it.
I will rearrange my schedule. I won't, some nights when we do this, I won't see my wife at all the day of recording. I'll get up and go to work, and I'll get home and she's gone to bed. I'll rearrange my schedule so that we could make this podcast work and record these episodes. And that one, we were like, hey, we're all going away for the holidays. It wasn't that fucking great. We're just going to stay at home. We're not going to try to make time to record this like we normally would.
Yeah. And we're shooting right now because, look, I want to talk about it. I want to have things to say.
We do this in a weird way for fun. So there's and boy, when you suck the fun out of something so hard that I don't even want to lose time talking about it.
One thing about AEW, I love to nitpick those guys. I can't even nitpick with WWE. Where do you start?
What is the point? What is the
right? That's the thing. You know what? No, I'm taking it back. It's a 1.5. I'm mad about it now.
And with AEW, you get.
I'm on my way, dude.
And with AEW, it's even if you didn't enjoy the show as much as you feel like you could have, you have enough hope that there's going to be something different next time.
Right.
And AEW still, I feel like it's been 3 years now, but still has the benefit of the doubt in that they are a very young company. WWE does not have that excuse anymore.
No, not at all. These are seasoned vets, and they should be destroying AEW. This shouldn't even be a contest, but no. And I don't know, man. That's just the long and the short of it. We've got Royal Rumble coming up at the end of the month. Now, here's the thing about the Rumble. And I don't even want to say this.
I know exactly what you're gonna say, and I feel like you're gonna jinx it.
I probably am. So
do it. Just do it.
Fuck it. Here we go. The Rumble Royal does not disappoint.
The what?
What did I say? The Royal Rumble?
You said the Rumble Royal.
How did you switch both?
I don't know.
You said Rumble Royal, and then you corrected the Royal, and then you said, what did I say? Royal Rumble?
The Royal Rumble.
That's the one.
What has wrestling done to you?
When you get into a cold building like this after work and you talk about wrestling that doesn't matter, I don't know.
But go on, the Royal Rumble.
It does not disappoint.
It really does. I was gonna say, the Rumble match itself will probably be fun,
and I think we're probably gonna have the Takeover podcast on as well.
Oh
with
yeah,
that one
yes, absolutely.
To do that, so that's gonna be fun. yeah, I've never seen a bad Rumble. I'm taking us right up to the edge,
you're just looking into the pit and throwing them shovels.
If you were wondering what I was writing down just now, it's the time code for the Royal Rumble does not disappoint. So that I can put that at the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap things up, Doggz.
Yeah, we might as well. We haven't even made it an hour, for the love of God.
You should get a cake ready that is written on it. The Royal Rumble does not disappoint, so that you can present it to him at the next podcast, and let him eat his words.
Yeah, this make that cake terrible. It's got to be like pralines and
Pralines and dick.
Pralines and dick. And if we can't stitch that on a pillow, then I don't know what we're doing with our lives. Hensley, what do you got for us?
Oh, well, next week we're going to be recording an episode of This Is a Takeover with Shelby Ray Patterson and Gina Belmont. And then the week after that, we're going to be kicking off our new theme discussion on Long Walk Talks for the year, which is 4 perfect films. Chris and Stan and I have each picked 4 films. We're going to be starting off with Stan. And for his first film for us to discuss, it's Lord of the Rings. So we're going to be discussing the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yep.
Perfect, you say.
Yes.
Sorry.
And
do you want to fight?
No, I have a lot of questions. What Stan's definition of perfect is?
10 out of 10.
Lord of the Rings, huh?
Yes. And I am in agreement with him on this one. I will fight you.
Are we talking about Fellowship, or are we talking about the whole series?
The trilogy as a whole.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I go perfect, but you know what? We'll have to wait and see.
We'll record the episode, and then after you listen to it, we'll get your rebuttal.
Okay.
But that's
or if
what
you just want to send me any burning questions you have to, I can pop in with those while we're recording. And get punched, probably.
Yeah, you got 2 hardcore Lord of the Rings nerds in here.
I'm pretty sure I could take at least one of you.
Oh, believe me, I love Lord of the Rings. As a kid, I watched the cartoon. I read the book when I was a teenager. I loved the Lord of the Rings. Then I saw the movie.
Ouch. Damn.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything bad. I just saw the movie.
You know the phrase "damning with faint praise," don't you?
No, look, hey, The Two Towers and Return of the King, I thought were phenomenal.
You really should do that rebuttal. That'll be interesting.
I want to turn this. I want to use, like, these episodes are usually about 90 minutes. I want to use the next 37 of them to ask you what's wrong with Fellowship of the Ring, but I won't.
It's become like an angry, hostile interview.
But yeah, so that's what we got. So next week we have a new episode of This Is a Takeover, and the week after that we'll be discussing Lord of the Rings on Long Walk Talks.
Right on, right on. So guys, if you want to find me, you can hit me up at This Is a Work on Instagram. Yeah, so there you go. Barnes, what about you?
Well, I don't know why, but if you want to come find me, probably to fight about things, I'm on Twitter at Chris the OK.
I'm also on Twitter.
He is. You should find him.
I don't know what my handle is anymore. I think it's just David Two Dogs Hayes, or it might be This Is a Work. Who the hell knows?
Well, no, the podcast is run by our social media manager.
Yeah. She doesn't run mine.
Well, speaking of that, thank you, Chris. If you want to follow me personally online, the best place to do that at is on Instagram at DB Hensley. If you want to keep up with the podcast on social media, you can find us on both Instagram and Twitter at Long Walk Podcast. If you would like to keep up with Long Walk Productions, you can visit us online at longwalk.us or search for Long Walk Productions and Long Walk Podcasts on Facebook. To see more of our original work or hear past episodes that are no longer streaming, you can follow the YouTube links in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and as always, if you enjoy this show or any of the shows on the Long Walk Podcast Network, please make sure to leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you are listening on.
And for David Hensley, Chris the Fashion Plate Barnes, this is David Two Dogs Hayes saying Guys, if you got out of bed today and you had a job to go to and someone that cares about you when you get home, folks, this match is over and you just won via pinfall. Thank you very much for listening to This Is a Work.
You know, in France, they don't call it the Royal Rumble. They call it Le Rumble Royale.
Nailed it.
Redeem these nuts.